The sky is not falling for the Jackson State football team. Even though folks are in the transfer portal, things are really looking up for Coach TC. We're going to talk about it. Some of the things I've learned over the last few days after the bumper. Stay tuned. What's good, good people? What is good, good people? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsyJr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Now, over the last few days, we've had some good interviews. We've learned a lot about what's taking place and what the future of the Jackson State football team will look like under head coach TC Taylor. Now, one of the things that we've learned is that, we learned that a lot of folks did hit the portal. But some folks are coming back and withdrawing their names. And a few of the folks that I hope really, really consider coming back that have entered the portal. It's three names out top. Well, four names. Tavion Beasley, cornerback, who had an interception, who was a true freshman last year, got some good playing time, both on special teams and on defense. Tavion Beasley, defensive back. Jeremiah Brown, Barron Hobson at linebacker, and Niles Gaddy. If those four players withdraw from the portal, come back to Jackson State, I think you have a really, really good chance of finding yourself back in the SWAC Championship game. I think you have a really, really good chance of finding yourself back in the Celebration Bowl. Why? Because I think Coach TC is going to get the offense right. First of all, 3 of your 5 starting offensive linemen have decided to stay. As of now, Evan Henry, Debo Hayes, and Zach Bro, as far as we know, have no plans of leaving Jackson State. Debo Hayes and Evan Henry come out and said they're staying, and Zach Bro hasn't said anything, but that's a good sign. If you don't say anything, I'm assuming that you're going to be on the team until you say otherwise. So that looks good. Savion Wilkerson has already come out and said on Christmas Eve that he'll post a public announcement of what he's going to be doing on his YouTube and Instagram Live. Fingers crossed, but that looks good as well. Because if you haven't entered the portal by now, with early signing day already passed, it's not to say that you can't end up on a really good team, especially a talent like Savion. That's not saying that at all. But I would like to just say, just from someone who knows college football and from an outside perspective, that is a good sign for Jackson State and for Coach TC Taylor if you haven't said anything by now. It's a good sign in favor of Jackson State. Now, you got other guys, Shane Hooks and other folks along the offense and along the defense that are still in the portal. But Shane Hooks, I kind of felt like he had done what he was supposed to do at Jackson State anyway. Now, if he comes back for another year, awesome. But I expected him to test the NFL waters or anything anyway. It wasn't like I really expected Shane to be on the 2023 roster, even though he had another year of eligibility. And that's simply because I thought he might test the NFL. So if he decides he's in the portal, if he decides to go elsewhere, best of luck to him. But if he decides to come back to Jackson State, this team is really now it's becoming loaded once again. It's not to add to the additions that Coach TC was able to bring in from the recruiting class, and all of them aren't announced yet. Like they announced a few guys, double-digit amount of guys from the transfer portal and high schoolers to sign on early signing day. But remember, this is one thing I put out. This is something that I put out. I want to show it in a tweet because, it's just the God honest truth that the rosters for 2023 are far, far from being set. Like the rosters for 2023, it still has a long way to go before you really find out what your roster is going to look at. This is a tweet that I put out a couple of days ago, and this holds very, very true. It says more players will hit the transfer portal between now and February. Even more will hit the portal after spring ball. Today was a fun day. This was National Signing Day, early signing day. Today is a fun day, but rosters are far from being complete for the fall of 2023. And here's why I say this. JSU fans, you will really, really be able to, relate to this. After spring ball in the summer, in like June or July, is when James Houston picked Jackson State. Decided to hit the transfer portal out of Florida. He didn't choose Jackson State until the summer. And you saw what he was able to go on and do And you see now what he's doing at the NFL level for the Detroit Lions once they finally gave him a legit shot. Malachi Wideman, someone who also is interesting. We need to continue to watch out for and see what kind of announcements he may be making. But Malachi Wideman, that first year when he dominated the SWAC, scored 12 touchdowns, he didn't choose JSU till like August. He was the last, if I'm not mistaken, and I talked to Malachi before and his people, but if I'm not mistaken, Malachi, before that year where he had 12 touchdowns, was the very last person to report to fall camp for Jackson State. Meaning he got there dumb late. And that's why his early season playing time wasn't there. Then when you all saw him once he got to playing, how he was able to go out there and score 12 touchdowns in essentially 9 games or something like that. So this roster, this Jackson State roster is far from being complete. And what once was honestly considered like scary, the amount of names that we thought were entering the portal, the amount of announcements that we saw people entering the portal looked really, really scary. I'm going to be honest. I saw it and was like, oof, seeing this many kids enter the portal isn't as bad as I initially thought. Now, that's not to get it twisted. FAMU still recruiting their tail off. Alcorn recruiting like hell. Grambling pulling in some big time guys. They are really, really going out there hitting the portal, hitting the class really hard early signing day. That's not to say that other folks in the SWAC aren't stepping their game up. And I really like FAMU because FAMU is returning their quarterback. FAMU is one of the only schools in the SWAC that'll have a quarterback that's been in the program more than 1 year. That'll have a quarterback that started last year. I mean, they're one of the few programs. Grambling potentially could have Miles Crawley. He was at Alabama State last year. Southern has already moved on from Bashawn McCray, and Bubba graduated. Prairie View has went out and got some quarterbacks. Texas Southern, well, they'll have Andrew Body will be back. They're one of the other few teams. Let's see who else is out there. Mississippi Valley, they'll probably have a new quarterback, or they have a new coach, they have a new staff, everything that's going on with them. Bethune-Cookman, Jalen Jones has decided to enter the transfer portal. So FAMU is going to look really good because of all the dogs that they're bringing in and the fact that they have an established quarterback coming back and he's a passer of the football. That's going to help them a whole lot. So they're no joke. But this JSU team is shaping up really, really well. And if some of all they have to do essentially, and it's not an easy thing. I'm not acting and pretending like this is an easy task. But if Jackson State can get a couple of those guys just to return, the linebackers is really who I'm thinking about. Geronte Davis, who hasn't entered the portal, but Geronte Davis, Barron Hobson, Jeremiah Brown, with the Niles Gaddy potentially returning. Now you're looking like a loaded roster again. You're looking like a roster that can compete for a SWAC championship once again. You're looking like a roster that can end up back in Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl once again. And that's, all bearing with the Phillip Shorts of the world, the Seven McGee's of the world. You're looking like a dangerous roster once again. And we know Coach TC knows how to coach offense. He didn't get his legit chance this season, but when they played well, when he was the offense coordinator, they put up points. When they were able to block people, they put up points. So we know he'll be able to score some points. Man, this offseason is we're going to follow along all throughout the offseason. But what once looked really, really scary, with all the guys hitting the portal and all the guys that looked as if they weren't going to be returning to Jackson State and all the firepower looked as if that they were losing, which they did lose some. Tyler Brown, that's a big – he was an FCS All-American. He's now going to Colorado. Makes plenty of sense. Cameron Tillman-Craig was a really true freshman starter, 2-year starter, really good piece. Come in the box and help stop the run. Now, of course, he got stiff arm. We understand that. That doesn't take away from the fact that he was really, really good for Jackson State for 2 years. It's a big loss. Travis, of course. Shadur, of course. It's a big loss to Shiloh. But that doesn't mean that this team can't come back and be really, really scary in their first year under head coach TC Taylor. And why wouldn't, if you're in the portal, and this is just my ode to the guys in the portal at Jackson State or anywhere across the HBCU landscape. It's specifically for the ones at Jackson State because they've had so much success in the last 2 years. If you're in the portal and you can go to Colorado with Prime, okay, I get it. Or you can go play at an FBS level or whatever, I get it. And not lower level FBS. I'm talking about Power 5. You can go play Power 5. I've seen Willis Patrick got offers from like TCU, who's in the college football playoff and different things. Okay, I get it. I get it. Your coach left. You want to move on. I get that. But if you're in the portal and your only offers outside of returning to Jackson State, which has an established culture, a winning program, a chance to win a chance to go down in history as a third straight SWAC champion, SWAC East champion, SWAC champion, and be the one to do it under new head coach TC Taylor, and your only other options are like West Carolina and Old Dominion and just these places that you just won't get the same looks and or attention and or love that you would get from Jackson State, go back to Jackson State. Like, go back to Jackson State. Go back and be a part of something that you know works. You know what you do and what you contribute to this team. It works. It's worked enough to win you 2 straight SWAC championships. It's worked enough to send you to the Celebration Bowl for 2 years in a row. It's worked. It's a proven recipe, and you're one of the key ingredients. Go help be a part of history instead of going somewhere where you may get exposure and you may get playing time and you may have a chance of winning. Whereas if you go back to here, you know you have a chance of winning. You know you're going to get exposure. You know you're going to get an experience that you just simply can't get most other places. So I say, man, go back to JSU and go for that three-peat and go do something that those previous 2 teams weren't able to do, and that's finish the deal in Atlanta at the Celebration Bowl. That's just my 2 cents. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for becoming a part of the gang. And all my members, be sure to sign up for the membership for exclusive content. Thank you guys. And I will see you next time. Peace.